Since the dawn of time, man has always watched cartoons. But no one ever in the history of man has ever stopped to ask where these cartoons have gotten their inspirations from. Where they've evolved from. But luckily today, I am going to show you just a piece of this cartoon history. Of course, if we're gonna go back and we're gonna look down a single tree, we need to start at the very beginning of the cartoon history. And as everyone should know, even if you don't watch cartoons or TV, or even if you live under a rock, everyone on the planet knows that the first cartoon ever created was Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo is the basis of all other cartoons ever. Every cartoon in existence can have its roots traced back to Scooby-Doo. Of course, this goes through trees. And as the next three biggest points, of course, being the Flintstones, classic, and Tom and Jerry. Scooby-Doo is the beginning, but these are where things get interesting. The Flintstones, Tom and Jerry, they divide. They make differences. They pull certain elements of Scooby-Doo and they take it into their own. Now, of course, the Flintstones then led into the Simpsons. The Simpsons was, of course, the next chain of evolution in that timeline. But the Tom and Jerry, of course, leading into Kid vs. Cat being the next progression. However, what about the middle? Well, I believe that the middle is the most important, because while these other chains have some very good cartoons in them, none of them are as big as this one. The middle chain, of course, is Martin Mystery. Martin Mystery is the basis of all the biggest cartoons nowadays. But what cartoons, you ask? What cartoons does Martin Mystery lead into? Well, that's what we're going to be exploring today. We're not going to... the Flintstones? Tom and Jerry? No. Not today. Not today. We're going to be looking at the Martin Mystery chain. The Martin Mystery chain. Specifically, cartoons that descended from Martin Mystery.
Chapter 1. What is Martin
But what is Martin Mysteries? Because before we can dive in, I think we need to know a little bit about what the show actually is. Martin Mysteries is a show that aired in like 2003 or something, I think, that stars Martin Mystery and his companion girl, and Caveman, and Beast Boy and them and all that. They go on and they solve mysteries. Sound familiar? That's because it is familiar. Martin Mysteries takes after Scooby-Doo and the likes. They solve mysteries. That's about it, honestly. I mean, that's... So just say it.
What do I say? Oh yeah, Chapter 2, The Missing Link.
Perfect. Now I know what you're thinking. What you're thinking right now is, how could you say Martin Mystery is one of the links to all other cartoons? You need to give like an example. Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you like 3 or 4, I don't know, examples. I don't know. I'm going to give you a lot though. You're going to get a lot of examples. Number 1. So the first one, we all love the classic show Johnny Test. Johnny Test is a bad cartoon, but it is a good example of a modern cartoon that heavily links into a Martin Mystery. We can see the influences right from the start. Look at Johnny Test and tell me what character is designed quite similarly to Johnny Test. That's right, Marvin Mystery is Johnny Test. The parallels are too clear. And that is one example of how modern... That is an example right there. That is... Johnny Test was heavily shaped by Martin Mystery. And I'm 100% certain if you ask the creator of Johnny Test if he had any influences at all, he would say, well, I did have one major influence when creating Johnny Test. The biggest influence on Johnny Test was definitely, it had absolutely had to be Martin Mysteries. And you know it's true. You look at the evidence is right in front of us. To the next point. Number 2! Alright, now we're going to point 2. Now you know, if I'm starting the first point with Johnny Test, well, you gotta know that the rest of them are gonna be just the juiciest, the best evidence you would ever see in your entire life. Burn your eyeballs out. Alright, here we go. So the second point. This is a big one, and you probably could guess it. If you look at the caveman, it's pretty clear to see the resemblance to George Lopez. That's right, George Lopez, a hit cartoon series, beloved by many. Amazing cartoon series. Now, obviously, you can see, again, the parallels between George Lopez and Martin Mystery. It's clear. It's right in front. It's like, look. It's right there. It is right there. Now, that's some good evidence and all, but I have a direct quote from George Lopez himself, stating that he was a big fan of Martin Mysteries, and that it heavily impacted how he went about creating George Lopez. That's right, straight from the man himself. Freaking Shark Boy and Lava Girl looking dude. Alright, anyway, we're gonna go on to our, I don't know, third, maybe last point. We're gonna find out. I don't even know. Numero tres. Now on to our third point. This one I feel, this is a big doozy. This is the big shebang. This is you know, this is a gut buster right here, folks. This one's gonna take it home. Now, obviously, Martin Mystery's art style is very unique, and I don't think there's a single cartoon out there that before this that had it other than Totally Spies, but no one remembers that show. Anyway, you might notice this art style is very reminiscent of things we've seen coming out very recently. That's right, you know what I'm talking about. Martin Mysteries is the root of all anime. I'm not joking to you. Look back. If you look, you can see it. The evidence is right there. This is the link no one has seen before. We're discovering new horizons here. All anime. Pick any anime. You pick any anime. It comes, the art style, the storyline, everything comes from Martin Mysteries in some way or another.
残酷な天使のように少年よ神話になれ青い風が今胸のドアを叩いても私だけをただ見つめて微笑んでるあなたそっと触れるもの求めることに夢中で運命さえまだ知らない痛いけな瞳だけどいつか気づくでしょうその背中には遥か未来目指すための羽があること残酷な天使の手で窓辺からやがて飛び立つほとばしる熱いパトスで思い出を裏切るならこの空を抱いて輝く少年よ神話になれ
Alright. Oh yeah, it's the moment we've all been waiting for, the big unveiling. What's the fourth point? What's the fourth point? We need to know. What's the big information? I want to know. Okay, well I'm gonna tell you, but you have to sit. If you're sitting down, you're gonna have to stay sitting down because you're gonna stand up once you hear this. What if I told you that Steven Universe of Steven Universe is Martin Mysteries? That's right. You heard me.